Hello guys and girls, welcome back to another video. Today we're checking out the Tonex One. Let's go! So, welcome back to the channel. Hope you had a great summer. Here we are back with some new reviews, and today I'm bringing to you the Tonex One. So, the Tonex One is the smaller version of the Tonex pedal, which packs all the stuff that is in the Tonex into a very small pedal enclosure. It has a input, stereo out, so you can either plug your headphones here, or with a Y cable you can output stereo, or you can simply go into the face of the amp if you're going to use this as a pedal tone model with the A/B switch on and off, or you can put your favorite amp sims, for example in the A/B mode, which lets you go back and forth between two tone models. And you can go, for example, what I do is go into the return of a real amp and use my tone models of my amps. It packs 20 different presets in here. The only differences from the bigger brother are the fact that this doesn't have a screen, so it's a little bit harder to navigate between the presets. It only has an A/B switch, so you won't be able to go up and down the banks like the bigger one. But depending on your use, it's probably better to have two of these than one of the bigger brother, because the price is there. And as far as sound goes, they sound the same. So don't worry, the fact that this is smaller doesn't mean that it's anywhere worse in sound quality. It's the same. It's really the same. I already tried digital stuff, but I never was impressed by it. But when I first reviewed the Tonex pedal, which you can watch up here, I was really blown away, but I couldn't have the full Tonex experience because that was on loan by the guys at Music. So it wasn't my pedal, it wasn't my software. I didn't activate the Tonex software, so I could only browse and check out the built-in presets. I wanted to portray to you what you get when you plug the pedal without using the software. But really with Tonex, the full experience is with the software. Now that I have it, I really wanted this pedal not to just access the 200 tone models that are available in Tonex SE, which is included with this pedal. Also Amplitude SE, by the way. But I wanted it for a specific purpose. I want to replicate the tone of my Marshall with the pedals that I own to use it live. This was my goal. I just went straight to the tone modeling stuff, and believe me, I was blown away. I was really blown away because it's really easy to do. First, the cable management is a bit so-and-so. you need a reamp box or something to get from the audio interface to your amp with the right impedance, because otherwise it's not gonna go well. But the first models that I did were without a reamp box, just going straight out from the line out of the interface into the amp and trying to match the volume to get it to sound as my guitar will sound by plugging into it. And boy, was blown away. The first tone model that I did of the clean and of the lead channel, it was really close. I mean, you can hear the difference, A-B, but it was so close that in a mix you won't hear the difference, and live you won't hear the difference. The audience doesn't care about the fact that you have a tiny little bit less mids and stuff like that. And all this with the default training, which is the it takes about 15 minutes to do. It already gives you a great result, but for lead and high gain tones and fuzzes, the best way to go is the long high quality training, the advanced training, which can take a bit, like an hour and a half, depending on your computer. It can take more, it can take less. Mine is a 2019 MacBook Pro, and yeah, it takes about an hour and a half to do, but the results are amazing. It really sounds like the amp, and it also was able to replicate a really complex sound that I use live, which is the Boss DF1 into the clean Edge of Breakup amp, and yeah, it turned out really close. I will let you hear some samples in a bit, but the bottom line is that it's really cool to be able to clone stuff and to get your own sounds into this tiny little bit of enclosure. It's really mind-boggling, because it is this is worth buying only for couch playing. That's it, I said it. It's already that good. But if you think that you can use it live, if you think that you can use it, you can turn it up to the recording studio with this and all your sound in here. And maybe there are amps there, maybe there's stuff, but if you're not, or if the client is not satisfied by what you're doing, boom, you plug this in, you can hook it up to the USB. You don't even have to bring a 9-volt adapter, because it's USB powered. And you can plug straight with the USB into the computer to use it as an audio interface, by the way. So it's a really cool tool. But now, enough talking, let's hear it, and then we'll come to the conclusion. First, we're going to hear the tone models that I did of my amp alone, and this is what I used in the intro, by the way. Then we're going to compare the tone model to the real amp, and then we're going to compare the tone models that I did of my real pedals to the tone models. Let's go. So the cool thing about this is that you can tweak the parameters. By default, the pedal has a bass, mid and treble and volume control. But if you press the Alt button, you can tweak the other parameters, so the noise gate, the compression, and the reverb and the gain. Let's go to the clean channel right now, and let's check out how the EQ works. Because remember, this is not the EQ of the amp. You're not acting on the EQ of the amp. You're acting on the... It's like there's an EQ after the amp. The EQ doesn't affect the structure of the amp. It's not like when you're tweaking the parameters on the amp itself. So bear that in mind. That is different from the tone model to, for example, an amp model like Amplitude, like the Helix, something like that. You are tweaking the EQ of the amp. So there is a simulation of the amp and how the circuit goes. This way you have a snapshot and you are tweaking the EQ after the snapshot. But anyway, enough talking, let's hear it. You can see this is the volume. and we can act on the gain. Then let's see what the EQ does. So as you can see, it's pretty effective. Let's check out the other. For example, I wanna let you hear the reverb because it sounds really nice. You can tweak it by accessing the Alt function, and then this is at 0. The compression is also really nice, and you can access it by turning this knob. The volume will change a bit when you engage the compression, and from the software you can decide if the compression is applied after or before. In this case, the default, I think it's after the tone model, so it's like you having a compressor in the after you record the guitar, so like in a studio. As you can see, when you apply the compressor, the volume drops, so you have to go back to the default controls and act on the volume. But yeah, it's really effective. So this is with no compression. As you can see, we are clipping right now, and the red blinking is signaling that something is wrong. Now let's check out the noise gate. It's really nice, especially with like a single codec kit guitar. You can access it by the alt. So, if you hold the Alt for more than 6 seconds, you access the configuration mode. So, the most important thing in the Tonex, I think, the Tonex 1 and the Tonex pedal is the input trim. And you can trick that with this little knob. As you can see, when you play, it turns green and lets you know that everything is fine. Depending on the output of your guitar, for example, this is a very low output guitar, so it's fine, like more than half, I think. As you can see, I'm strumming and it's okay. If I grab another guitar that has, for example, higher output pickups, you're gonna see it being red. Look what happens now. As you can see, we are in the red. Every time I play, we're in the red. I need to lower the input trim to match and to have the tone model behave like it's supposed to, because it's emulating the behavior of the amp that it's modeled on. You have to set the input gain properly, so you're not clipping, and so that the tone model behaves how it's supposed to. So you keep strumming until it gets green. As you can see, now it's happy and it's behaving like it's supposed to. The middle pot in the setting mode lets you turn on and off the cab simulation. So in this case, when it's green, it's on, as you can hear it. It sounds good. If you turn it and it gets red, now it's off. This is useful because if you want to play straight into the PA system, for example, at a live gig, or straight into the interface, you need the cab simulation, unless you are applying one after the recording. And in this case, you're gonna go to the green and turn it on. But if you want to hook up to a real amp, for example, you can put the Tonex into the send and return of the amp. You go straight into the return, and so you're using the final part of the real amp as a power amp. That way you won't need a cab simulation, because there should be there will be a real cab, whether it's a combo or a head plus cabinet. And so in that case you want to turn it off, because it's gonna sound bad unless you do so. But yeah, it's really easy to do, and it's really easy to do while you're live. So for example, I used it live with a real amp, and so I went there, I turned off the cab simulation, done, ready to go. The bass knob lets you toggle between the A-B mode and the single pedal mode. So for example, now all the way to the left it's in A-B mode, so the dual channel. In my case, I did an A-B clean and lead channel of this amp, but you can do different amps, of course. You can do also different pedals. It depends how how you are going to use the pedal. If you turn it to the right, you're gonna go into the stomp mode. So the stomp mode is gonna make you go into a on and off toggle. That way you won't be able to switch between two presets, you only have one, and you'll be able to turn that on and off. If you plan on using this as a pedal simulator, for example, you can put one of the many pedal tone models that are available from IK and from the ToneNet. I uploaded some of my own pedals on the ToneNet too, and also the amps. They are free, so check them out. And yeah, you can use that as a pedal. They show, for example, that you can build an old Tonex 1 pedal board, which is pretty expensive, but if you think about the many possibilities that you can do, it's pretty cool to be able to change the different pedals depending on your specific needs. Yeah, that is cool, and there's something that you can do with this mode, and you can change it on the go. Now, let's check out the dirt channel. So now, let's compare the tone models of the pedals that I did to the real pedal, live straight into the amp. Let's turn on the real one. This is a clone. Now the DS1. Of course, these are the exact same settings that I modeled on this pedal. So let's check out the pedal, the real pedal first. Now, the most difficult comparison in my opinion, because this is the Soul Blender per Fulltone, and it's really hard to model these kind of fuzzes. Both of the fuzzes did a high quality training, so the longer one, because it's the suggested one, and I think it's the only one that works because they're really complex to render. But let's check out how the tone model came. Let's hear the real pedal first. So, this is it for today. Don't forget that since I own this, this is not gonna be the last video on Tonex in general. I will be keeping you updated with all the pros and cons in the future. I already used it live, so right now the issues that I have is mostly the fact that the general volume is okay, but the fact that you have two separate volumes for the presets, it's not great, because when you're live you want to have, for example in my case, the lead channel of the amp and the distortion and the clean at equal volumes, and I had to do a little bit of trickery, because when you're at that loud volumes, you really are not that able to tell the fact that the clean is a little bit higher or a little bit lower than the distortion, especially when the distortion is really heavy, like on my preset. It tends to sound louder while it isn't actually. In fact, it was really lower, but yeah, that is the only issue that I have right now. Otherwise, I really love this pedal, I really love this platform in Tonex in general, and the fact that you can access the infinite number of tone models on the Tone network. Yes, there are some packs that you can buy from people, and if you like to buy stuff because you like it, do it. It's cool. But the most important thing for me is the fact that you can access to a lot of free tone models, and you can access to mine, because I also uploaded mine on the tone model. You can search for SRGMSG nickname. You can recognize the same picture from the channel here. But yeah, great platform. And yes, this is not gonna be the last video on Tonex in general, because I will be coming with some other video about it. And yeah, so stay tuned if you're interested in this. Yeah, thank you for coming back to the channel, and I'll catch you in the next one. See ya!